typically what we see is mid caps have higher linkage with growth. So whether it is global growth or domestic growth, um, they because their resilience is a bit less than large cap. So when there is a bad time, the earnings fall more. But when there is a good time, the earnings go up much more as well. So given that, as I said, we hopefully are entering a phase where see, the global economy is already firing. Now the domestic economy is likely to fire once this COVID-2 wave dies out. And in that scenario, we feel that both the earnings growth and the stock price performance of mid caps will be much better than large caps.
Hello and welcome. Markets are trading near all-time high. What should be one's strategy? Should one stay invested, or is it time to take some profits and stay on the sideline for some correction? To talk on all this, I have with me Mr. Manish Gunwani, CIO, Equity Investments, Nippon Life Asset Management. Welcome, Mr. Gunwani.
Hi.
Mr. Gunwani, markets are at all-time high. What should one do? What should one's strategy be at these levels?
See, equities is typically an asset class where we need to be invested continuously for long periods of time. But at the same time, you obviously need to avoid a big drawdown. So the question, or a fall in markets, let's say, the question is it likely or not? See, typically what we have seen is significant fall in value of equities. Typically happens only in two cases. One is when both price to earning multiple or valuations and the earnings are both high at the same time. So if you go back to 2007, from 2001 to 2007, the Nifty or Sensex earnings grew at 25-26% for 5-6 years.
Right.
The earnings were very high and the price to earning multiple was also high. The other case is where there is a lot of macroeconomic discomfort. See, inflation is high, or current account deficit is high, rupee is under pressure, which happened in 2013, for example. So while today valuations are a bit higher than they normally have been historically, the comforting fact is that the earnings growth seems to be ahead of us. So just to put it in perspective, in FY21, India obviously saw zero or negative GDP growth, but still the earnings have done better than expected. So the point here is that we seem to be starting a new earning cycle after almost 10, 11 years of weak earnings growth. So given that scenario, we think that equities is still a relatively attractive asset class. You may not make 20-25% kind of compounding return, but on a 3-5 year basis, we think we can still generate healthy return, which is better than real estate, bank, FD, whatever alternative opportunities we have.
Okay. Sir, if we talk about the current situation, COVID pandemic has taken a toll on the small businesses. And, income generation has also got hit for people where consumption story comes into play. So what is your view on the impact it could have on the demand scenario?
See, there is no doubt that this is one of the greatest human tragedies. I think broadly, all of us have heard or know someone who has suffered a lot. And this is globally also, this is a once in 100-year kind of health crisis. However, when we look at the economy or the market, we have to be a bit objective and see what is impacting the economy. Now, for India, exports are a reasonably big part of the macroeconomic scenario. Even for the stock market, almost 30 to 40% of our earnings are exports. And the difference between 2020 and 2021 is that the global economy in 2021 is doing very well. See, last year it was a global crisis where the entire global economy stopped.
Right.
Here only some countries like India and Brazil are facing these issues. Most of the developed world is doing pretty fine. So one is that a big part of the economy, a big part of the market is doing quite well in terms of sales growth or profits.
Mhm.
Second is, even from a domestic scenario, the lockdown intensity has been lower. It's not a pan-India lockdown. So we think that the economic impact is both limited in time and the depth of the impact. So even by time, we do think that with the cases falling in a lot of states, we will see gradually reopening starting in June. So both by time and how intense the lockdown is, we think that this will be relatively better. And third, very important is, see, unlike last year when the cases first fell, you were never sure whether you'll get a second wave or third wave.
Right.
This time there is a vaccination there, which gives you comfort that from here on the crisis will keep getting lesser and lesser in a sense. So given all this, we feel that the impact on the economy is less. As we have seen, actually, the impact on the market has been almost negligible.
Right.
And we think that is how it should be.
So in such a situation where you are not expecting that kind of a deep impact on the economy, would you be betting on global cyclicals or domestic cyclicals?
So that's a very interesting question. We, in fact, feel from here on. So till very recently, we were more positive on global cyclicals because we felt for whatever impact this COVID second wave will have, the domestic auto banking kind of sectors will definitely face some headwind. But right now, we feel that the global business cycle is more mature. See, US has been doing well for 10 years before the first COVID wave. So while they're recovering from the COVID wave, the capacity utilization, the slackness of resources they have is much less versus India, which has been kind of going through a slowdown for 5-7 years.
Yes.
So if you see on a 5-7 year basis, our bank credit growth, our car sales growth, everything has been broadly low. So what we feel today is now that the COVID second wave, we are seeing very significant signs of it coming down in terms of cases, deaths, etc. We believe that from here on, domestic cyclicals seem more attractive than global cyclicals.
Okay, in domestic cyclicals, which of the sectors that you would be, really liking here?
So there are multiple segments here. From a large cap perspective, we like the what I would call the value banks, which are the big private banks or big PSU banks, which have traditionally been in corporate lending, but they have slowly migrated to being fairly big on the retail side now. But because of historic issues, their valuations are quite low versus the pure retail bank. So that is one segment we like also because apart from the fact that the asset quality is improving, we also see that the technology part of these large banks is very competitive versus smaller banks or NBFCs. So we think that these banks will definitely get market share. The other cyclical segments we like are smaller segments like commercial vehicles. So there are both OEMs and financiers of commercial vehicles, real estate, mid-cap cement, utilities. So there are a lot of mid-cap cements as well, which typically participate in economic recovery on the domestic side.
So, given the lower bond yields and equity markets at near all-time high, and if we talk about generally, they're trading at higher than the average valuation. So, uh, if one has to choose between the two, what side should be overweight on?
So we believe that after many years, the stars are aligning for the Indian economy because if you think about it, in last 5-10 years, between a combination of strong global economy, um, dovish monetary policy, and aggressive fiscal spending, that combination we've not had over the last 5-10 years, and after many years, starting in probably H2 of this calendar year, when the virus issue hopefully recedes, you will have a global economy which itself is recovering from the virus. You will have low interest rates in India. You will have good government spending. So we believe that when economies change trajectory, typically the value style outperforms the growth style. So over last 5-10 years, we've obviously seen the growth style do better because the parts of the economy which were growing were very narrow. So you had only, let's say, retail lending growing, you had only chemicals growing. So a lot of the stocks in these sectors did well because the rest of the sector there was no growth. But if you see what is happening over last 2-3 quarters, there has been a much more broad basing of earnings growth. So you have pharma which has come back, you have commodities which have done very well. Telecom is coming out of a consolidation phase. So when this broad basing of earnings growth happens, I think the value style works better.
Mid cap and small cap, they have outperformed the broader markets during last 1 year. If we take into consideration, do you think that it's right time to really enter mid cap and small cap space, or we have missed the rally?
No. We do think that mid and small caps outperformance will still run for some time. So these things happen in cycles, right? If you go back, 2006 to 2008 was a strong mid cap rally. And then from 2009 to 2013, the mid caps were neglected. And then from 2013 to 17, again, there was a very strong mid cap rally. And then 18, 19, 20, for 3 years, the mid caps were broadly forgotten.
Yes.
So we think that given the time correction, first of all, which happened in 2018, 19, 2020, price correction, because a lot of mid caps, even today, are equal to or even lesser than the Jan 2018 price. So there's been a price correction, there's been a time correction. And also, the typically what we see is mid caps have higher linkage with growth. So whether it is global growth or domestic growth, they because their resilience is a bit less than large cap. So when there is a bad time, the earnings fall more. But when there is a good time, the earnings go up much more as well. So given that, as I said, we hopefully are entering a phase where, see, the global economy is already firing. Now the domestic economy is likely to fire once this COVID-2 wave dies out. And in that scenario, we feel that both the earnings growth and the stock price performance of mid caps will be much better than large caps.
Many people, investors seem to have missed the rally. They have been waiting for a sharp correction to happen in the markets, and then they will enter and re-enter. Do you feel this is the right time to really make fresh investments into equity markets?
So I think definitely if your long-term allocation to equities, let's say X%, there is no reason to be less than X%. See, I think what you said is very true. There are two big reasons I feel. One is that when you see things around us, it is obviously very emotionally sad. It gives you a feeling that the world is not a good place to be. And since equities are seen as a growth asset, people feel how will growth come when there is so much negative things happening around you. But as I said, Indian growth is linked to global growth. Indian growth also, when you look at stock market earning growth, is also about market share shift. So a lot of the large companies are getting market share from smaller companies, like in banking or a lot of household goods, for example. So one is we have to see these two things very differently. What is happening around us and what is happening to the earning growth of the companies which are listed. And the second reason why people have been cautious is to look at price to earning multiple. Now, typically India is traded at 16 to 18 times 1 year forward. But now it has been trading at 20, 22 times for a long period of time. But there also, I think there has been a global shift where rather than looking at price to earning multiple itself, people are looking at price to earning multiple in relation to the bond yields in that country. So if you see US also, the price to earning multiple is higher than historical averages because for the same point in the economy, the Fed has kept interest rates much lower. So if you see for the same amount of inflation, what the Fed had kept interest rate maybe 10 years or 15 years back, today for that level of inflation, the interest rates are probably 200 to 400 bits lower, right? Now, even in India, what is happening is because of this global movement towards lower interest rates, you are definitely seeing even India move towards that. So, as we all know, today our home loan rates or car loan rates are at 20-25 year lows. So, when this whole global paradigm of looking at price to earning multiple versus bond yields is there, I think we have to accept that that is how things will be. So, we can't look at price to earning multiple only. So a lot of people I talk to get very agitated looking at high price to earning multiples, but I think it's a fact of life.
So, do you expect RBI to act anytime soon as far as the interest rates are concerned? Because now we have concerns of inflation cropping up.
Yeah, so I think Steve, fall in interest rates look difficult from here because the consumer inflation is printing at 5%, 6%. But I also, so again, there are two parts to this. One is whether this consumer inflation is structural or is it because of the supply bottlenecks because of COVID also. So there is some element of, the supply, like chips are in shortage globally. The logistics is being affected because some cities have lockdowns, etc. So one is that hopefully that should put a lid on inflation. Structurally, I think the one of the good things for India is our biggest, or rather one of the biggest items we consume and import is oil. And of all the commodities, the long-term outlook on oil price is probably the weakest because there is a technology shift towards electric vehicles. There is renewables which have become cost competitive, solar and wind. So there is a lot of alternative technologies which are taking the place of oil. So while oil may obviously go up and down a bit, but generally the belief is from a 5 year perspective, from a 10 year perspective, oil is not going to go up too much. So
Right.
if that is the scene, and if our agri production keeps increasing steadily, my view is that while inflation may be spiky based on these bottlenecks which we are seeing, I think slowly over time in 3-6 months, as these supply bottlenecks get removed, we should see inflation coming off.
Mhm.
In which case, I also don't like the bond rates to go up too much. So I think the 10 year at 6%, maybe plus or minus whatever 25-50 bips may happen. But I do think that these this paradigm of India being a relatively a lower interest rate country where you will get home loans at 6.5-7% is here to stay.
Thank you, Mr. Gurmani, for being with us. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.